Today I'm going to show you some cropping and cutting tools. Hi, welcome to CorelDRAW Techniques. My name is John Allred. Today we're going to explore the tools that are in the Crop Tool Flyout. Come on, let's go. If you've ever used a paint program, one like Corel Photo Paint or one of the many paint programs that come free with Windows, then you've used cropping and probably cut tools before. But in a vector program like CorelDRAW, they operate a little differently. They don't operate on the page, they operate on objects. So let's go ahead and take a look at these tools. Under the Crop Tool Flyout, the first tool is Crop. Now, an interesting thing about the Crop tool is that unless you have an object selected, whatever you select is going to be all that remains on the page after you crop. If I click and drag across this rectangle, and then I double click, then everything on the page disappears like you see. Control Z to back up. Now, if I first click on this object and then I select the Crop tool, see it shows as selected there, and then I select it, then it'll only crop that little bit of rectangle. And the same holds true for other objects. Crop. There we go. And let's see if this works the same way as it did. It didn't work on that at all. So let me select the text and then crop. And that did work. Okay, so the text has to be selected first, just like any other object. This is a table, and I think it'll work the same way. Let's see. Yep. And this is a bitmap here. So I didn't have it selected before. I do now. And now I'll double click. And that did do it. Everything has to be selected first before the crop tool will operate on the individual objects. Otherwise, it will crop down to part of the object and erase everything else from the page. All right, let's look at the next one. The knife tool. Well, we'll just go through it. It's got some quirks too. All right, I have the bitmap selected, so let me click and drag the knife tool across that. And if you'll notice over here, let me back up and I'll show you so you'll be noticing it. I've got the bitmap selected in the Object Manager. When I click and drag across it, then you can see that it made two objects. So let me pull one of them out of the way. All right. Now let's do a cut. See if we can do a cut on this one. Nope. If we select the rectangle, now notice right now that it is a rectangle. When I run the knife tool across it, it's going to become two groups of two objects each. And those objects are, let me ungroup that. Okay. And now, that's one object, and that's the other object. This one is still grouped, and it's two objects, but you can see that same thing applies there. All right. Now, let me try the knife tool on other objects here. Got some text, run across that. Didn't affect it. If I select the text and then run the knife across it, I turn the text into two objects, into two curves, and it's no longer text. Okay. So you see this one is still text, but this one is now turned into a curve. The third is the virtual segment delete. Now this one works with overlapping objects. So let me duplicate this. And I've got two objects there. Now select the virtual segment delete tool. And when you have a segment selected, then the icon will switch to an upright position. All right, that took that one out. And now if I go over here and do the one inside, I have two separate objects. And they're no longer rectangles. They're now curves. All right, and let me see. I don't think segment delete is going to work on text. Let's try. No, it's not. But I can click on that because do that again for a 0. There we go. If you click it just right, then you either get the outside circle or the inside circle. All right, and the final tool is the eraser. Now, eraser will work. You don't have to have shapes, but you do have to have the object selected. I just clicked on that lightly, and now I can take that out. Same here. I've got that object selected, and I can remove some of that from the center. You see? Let's try text. And I can erase text, but when I do, it now becomes curves. It's no longer text. And of course, this is no longer text either, so erase is going to work on that, as well as on the bitmap. And you've got, for all of these tools, you've got controls up at the top to control how big they are. So that is the Crop Tool Flyout. They're fairly simple, but they can produce some powerful results. All right, if you got value out of this video, I hope you'll take a second to click on the like button below. Also, click subscribe. And if you want to hear about new videos when they come out, then ring the bell. Thanks so much for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video.